Okay, so NXT Takeover Brooklyn. Very, very face heavy when it came to after the first couple matches. Like, I bet you're going to see all face victories, and it was. Beginning with Triple H talking about NXT started as like a whisper, and then it became he more or less runs through all of the Takeover names. So then it was a Revolution, and then it's taken over as a Revolution. So he ran through all of it, which is a pretty good intro. He also mentioned that they're going to be going to the UK, which is going to be ridiculous. They had about 16,000 actual wrestling fans, which was a crowd white hot. White hot. You begin with Tyler Breeze having his large match intro. So he has like the supermodels walking him out, full thing. Then out comes Jushin Thunder Liger. Crowd going nuts. Those two put on a really good match. You can tell that Jushin is not the man that you saw in WCW. He's he's an older wrestler. He is still a fantastic. He's a lot more mat-based now. It is sad that the first time we get Liger, we get him in more of the twilight of his career, taking nothing away. His twilight is better than some wrestlers' primes. It was like when we got Ultimo Dragon. We got him, years later than we should have, but great match, nice back and forth. Not really a lot of high flying, but good offense from Breeze. Breeze looked good. He had a running Liger bomb, 1, 2, 3. Liger gets a victory. They're not going to have him lose his first match, his first major match. They're finally getting him to walk into a WWE ring. He's not Sting. So that was a really good, nice, solid opener. We then go into our tag match. Vaudevillains, white hot over, taking on Bumf. And who do they get? Who do the Vaudevillains get to help them out? The Vaudevillains are in their blue pants. It's blue pants. There's a chant of Blue Pants City. Why? Suplex. Suplex City. 4-beat. If you've ever been to a wrestling event, the best chants are 3-beat and 4-beat because it's easier to work because you can do the chant into the rhythmic clapping. So, Blue Pants City just started going nuts. That match, great back and forth. A little bit of miscommunication by Blake and Murphy. Set up one of the first false finishes. Alexa Bliss trying to get involved. Blue Pants got involved. Kind of a poor takedown, but worked well from storyline standpoint. Vaudevillains, Whirling Dervish, 1, 2, 3, new champs. Perfect 10 Ty Dillinger comes out, and I'm like, oh, he's going to get fed to Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews, he's like, if you were to take some of the power moves of Big E Lashley, if you've never seen Apollo Crews, well, I guess that we haven't seen him because he was Uha Nation earlier. If you were to take the power moves of Big E Langston and then combine that with the flippy stuff that you get from Neville, that's the easiest way to describe Apollo Crews. Just good match with Ty Dillinger, who now has 10 shaved into the back of his head. Perfect 10 gimmick's great. It's definitely a smart crowd gimmick. Apollo's finisher, Gorilla Press Slam and a standing moonsault. It's a good match. Nice back and forth. Showed a lot of versatility. Showed a lot of the athleticism you get from Apollo Crews. Good match. Good match. Again, face one. Now we got into a match that I was really looking forward to. Baron Corbin, Samoa Joe. When Corbin first debuted and he destroyed CJ Parker, not Pamela Anderson's character from Baywatch, I believe that's also Lana's real name, and he destroyed him in just seconds. I mean, his whole match is like a gif. It was like, he is dripping in it factor. They should take Canadian wrestlers who are really technically gifted and rub them against Baron Corbin to get some of that it factor. He wrestled face for a while. It's all squash matches. His feud with Bull Dempsey should have been a lot better. It should have been. I hope they redo it now since they switched positions. And they put him against Rhino. He had a good match with Rhino. Rhino's a good hand. So now we're building him up to take on Joe. These two guys whooped the daylight. This is your striking match. This is your submissions hold match. Joe stretched him. Joe stretched him like crazy. And you can tell from when you watched, when it was Corbin Dempsey. Dempsey did all he could, but Corbin was still green. Corbin has gotten better, but they put him in a ring with Joe, and Joe is just phenomenal. These two put on a great match. Nice back and forth, a lot of power moves, a lot of striking, a lot of going for the rear naked. They can't call it a rear naked choke, so they're always going to call it it's a Coquita clutch. You know, go for it, fight out of it. Go for it, fight out of it. Good. Nice, solid match. Nice, solid wrestling. A little bit of mat work. Nice power moves from Corbin. Corbin looked great, but he got in the clutch and passed out. Good match, solid match. Steph comes out to talk about the Divas Revolution and how it started here in NXT. I started with the fans of NXT, who I think by extension are probably fans of Shimmer. Nice vignettes. They do the right amount of vignettes. It's here's your build up to the match, and they're short vignettes. When they cut to the ringside crew, and they're talking just about that. Talk a little about here's what's going on, tomorrow night. But just tying into the show that you're watching. That is the advantage of NXT. They're not hyping the network because you're watching NXT. You're already on the network. It's already built in. Bayley and Banks. Wow. I will still say I still prefer the Fatal 4-Way match because you had 4 phenomenal workers. And the technical wrestling that you had in Becky Lynch and Banks. This match was just gut-wrenching storytelling. Bayley is like the female Daniel Bryan. Coming down with American Dream Dusty Rhodes polka dots on her in a couple of spots. Banks come down into the ring in an Escalade with an entourage. And I was like, there's, you got 2 women who were, honestly, Bayley's late, she's like mid-20s. Sasha Banks, like 22, 23, like the same age as Paige. It's like, you know what? Those 2 with the proper build-up, that could easily be the Trish and Lita of this generation of fans. If you were a fan, about a decade ago, Trish and Lita were the pinnacle. They were the number 1, number 2. They were the Rock and Austin of the women's division. But beautiful back and forth. Bayley had a hand injury. They worked the hand injury a lot. Sasha Banks runs this perfect heel character. Bayley threw out a lot of different moves. Banks had a lot of good moves. They did a sequence where Sasha Banks didn't go for the full Banks statement, so she didn't have the lung blower into it, but got her in the crossface. Bayley was able to make it to the rope, but before Bayley could make it, he has her injured hand out. Banks takes her free leg. They're just kicking the crap out of her injured hand, and I'm like, that's healing. That's textbook. I read your manual, Ric Flair. That is healing. That's having somebody in the leg hold while punching him in the knee the whole time. Brilliant stuff. Bayley reversed into her own, and crowd is going nuts. Banks is selling like a double Ziggler in this move. Looks fantastic. We're not at the finish yet. We're getting towards the ending sequences. Looks like Bayley's trying to go for her top rope, Bayley to belly. Banks is having none of it. Constantly knocking her off from the top rope. Banks hits what looks almost kind of like a flying double knee a little bit, tries to go for the pin. Bayley kicks out. Banks can't believe it. Bayley can't believe it. Crowd is just going nuts. For people who don't know, an NXT crowd, they go to the bathroom before the matches start. And they go to the bathroom when all of the matches are done. There isn't it's my piss break match. No. All the matches are good. Good storytelling, good ring work. We get to the finish. Bayley and Banks are on the other turnbuckle. It's like, we're going to say top rope Banks statement? No. Bayley's reversing into what? I'm like, spider suplex? What move is she gonna throw out? And I was like, did we just see a top rope poison Rana? And I was like, that was virtually flawless. Stands up, Bayley to belly, 1, 2, 3, new NXT Women's Champion. Then Becky comes down. Charlotte comes down. And they're all in the ring with Sasha Banks. And they're doing this. They're the 4 horsewomen. 4 horsewomen of the world of professional wrestling. You know, that is Bayley's crowning achievement. That is the, you know what? You beat Charlotte, you beat Becky, you beat Banks. You are the new standard bearer in the NXT Women's Division. You're going to be the one who's going to be having the feuds with with Emma, with Dana Brooks, with, I guess, Nia Jax, Brock's cousin. Big girl, power wrestler. It's like a smaller version of Kong. You know, you're the one's going to have, probably, if they ever finally sign her, they'll have Blue Pants, Jessie McKay. They've got a lot of really good women's wrestlers. The problem is they had a phenomenal year with some amazing women's wrestlers. They're pretty much going to the main show now, so they're going to have to kind of rebuild a lot. Very much like when a lot of their tag division was yanked and taken to the main roster. A little bit of a build-up for the Owens-Balor match. Great job. Whoever's doing the editing for these little videos is able to take enough and go, okay, if you didn't know the build-up, we're going to give you like a 2-minute, here's this, here's where this happened, here's this. And it is as concise as you can possibly get, but get all of the major story points in. That person needs to be on Raw when they constantly do all their recaps and just be like, I can do this recap in like 10 seconds. We need to fill a minute. No. This is like a 10, 20 second recap. You don't need to, if you're just joining us and you didn't see the commercial, screw them. Here's your boom. Here's your big story beat. That's it. So of course now we have our ladder war. Was it as good as their match in Japan? It's hard to tell because the Japanese crowd is entirely different. Nice job on utilizing the ladders the right amount. A lot of ladder matches now in the E, it's just like we're going to use ladders and chairs and tables, and we're just going to Superman each other the whole time. No. They use ladders the right amount. Or should I say, they use the weapons as ladders. Of course, Corey Graves corrected him right away. He's like, you mean they use the ladders as weapons? He's like, you can use anything as you want to for anything. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm glad Corey Graves is there to be the heel color guy, but as well as to catch people when they make mistakes. Sorry, Brendan. You made a botch. Happens. It's live. Owens hit a power bomb almost whenever there was the time to hit a power bomb. Pull off a ladder. Into a power bomb. Power bomb you on the outside. Power bomb on the inside. Power bomb you out of the apron. Start going up. Yell at Balor to stay down. Kicking Balor in the head. Alright. Setting up a ladder. Into a ladder. Using the bottom rope. Alright, what's he going to go for? He's going to try to... Oh, if he hit that, he's going to kill Balor. Balor fights out of it. Knocks him in the ladder. I'm like, Owens, you've got a match tomorrow night against Cesaro. You might want to have something left. But this is Owens. This is Finn Balor. If they can give 110%, they're going to do that. They've got time to rest for tomorrow. Balor's on top of the ladder. He's reaching for the belt. Cannot get to the belt. He looks down at Owens. Goes up another rung. Can't get to the belt. Looks down at Owens. Stares right at the hard camera. It's like, he is going to coup de grace from first top of a ladder and coup de grace center of the ring. They did an ankle spotter this, so he favors the ankle. Good. Climbs up. Grabs the belt. All faces win. Solid. And of course they went over. They actually went, oh, it's 11 o'clock now. If you were watching on pay-per-view, we would be cutting you off. But this is our network. We can go as long as we want. And I was like, it's brilliant. That is absolutely freaking brilliant. They can do an overrun. I was going to yell at them. Nobody. It's their network. Again, super, super solid. And knowing that there's enough wrestling fans that can do something like this, maybe there's this thing that happens in Chicago in August that gets a lot of wrestling fans because he puts a lot of wrestlers at a place really close to Allstate. Allstate holds 14 to 16,000 people. So not quite like what the Barclay could hold. Well, actually, probably pretty close to what Barclay would hold. So it wouldn't be a SummerSlam crowd, but maybe, this will also be a year from now, Triple H could think about trying to see if he can get Allstate the same weekend as Wizard Universe in Chicago. And that could be a really great way to bring in a bunch of talent. Be like, here's what you're going to do. Saturday or Friday, whichever day you can get, we're going to do a bunch of signings, and then that night we'll do an event at Allstate. Allstate is pretty much like across the highway. You'll have a lot of wrestling fans who are there because, one, it's Chicago. Two, it's a comic convention. You can bring one or two big names to be there for WizCon. People will show up for that. They'll also hit NXT. Just throwing that out there.